The little black girl cried to the biker, saying someone marked her path across the rocky trail all morning. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. The sun was beginning to set over the dusty horizon as the little girl ran, her small feet pounding the rocky ground, desperate to reach someone, anyone who could help. Her breath came in short, panicked gasps, and her eyes, wide with terror, scanned the distant trail behind her. She had been running all morning, hoping to outrun the fear that clung to her like a shadow. The markers, the signs, the strange marks left on the trail. She could still see them in her mind, those eerie symbols, drawn with precision, like a map of her every step. Someone had been following her, and she could feel it. She had tried to lose them, to turn back, but the trail seemed endless, winding through the rocks and trees, mocking her attempts to escape. As she neared the biker's camp, her heart pounded louder. She didn't know what she was running from, but she knew she couldn't do it alone anymore. Her feet hurt, her body ached, and the fear was unbearable. She had to get to safety. With every step, the feeling of being watched intensified. Finally, she reached the camp, where a group of bikers was gathered around, fixing their bikes, laughing, talking. They looked up as she stumbled into view, her tear-streaked face a picture of pure terror. She didn't even need to say anything at first. Her body language said it all. The leader of the group, a tall, broad-shouldered man with a weathered face and a scar down his cheek, stood up immediately. He had seen that look before, the kind of fear you couldn't fake, the kind that stuck with you, even after the danger was gone. "What's wrong, little one?" he asked, his voice surprisingly gentle for someone who looked so tough. "Someone's been following me," she gasped, tears falling freely. "Now, they marked my path. All morning. I don't know who they are, but I can't make it stop." The biker's expression hardened. He looked over at his crew, a silent understanding passing between them. The girl's fear was real, and they knew it. "Stay here," the leader said, his tone leaving no room for argument. "We'll handle it." The others, all burly men and women with tattoos and leather jackets, began to move with practiced efficiency. No one questioned the leader's orders. They were a team, a family, and when one of their own needed help, they all stepped up. The girl watched in awe as the bikers got to work. They weren't just tough. They were organized, methodical, ready for whatever came next. Her breath slowed, the initial panic beginning to fade as she realized she wasn't alone anymore. There was hope. Someone was going to protect her. And for the first time all day, she felt a small sense of safety wash over her, as the bikers prepared to confront whatever danger lay ahead. "I don't know how long I've been running. It feels like hours, but it's probably only been minutes. The pain in my legs is unbearable, and my breath is coming in short, desperate gasps. The weight of my fear has only grown as I've kept running, trying to outpace the shadows that seem to follow me at every step. My feet are bleeding, my heart pounding, but I have to keep going. I can't stop now, not when I'm so close to safety. The bikers are here now, and they've promised to protect me, but something still doesn't feel right. I keep glancing behind me, as if expecting to see the man who's been stalking me, the one who's been leaving strange marks along my path. I don't know who he is or what he wants, but the fear I feel tells me it's nothing good. I try to push the thought from my mind as I stand in the camp, watching the bikers prepare for what's next. I can feel the tension in the air, thick and heavy. I want to believe everything is going to be okay. I need to believe it. I close my eyes for a moment, taking in a deep breath, and when I open them again, the bikers are moving. The leader, a man with a weathered face and a scar running down his cheek, approaches me. His name is Jack. I trust him. I don't know why, but I do. His crew, the other bikers, are working together in perfect sync. They're getting their gear ready, checking their bikes, making sure everything is set. There's a calmness about them, even though I can see the storm brewing in their eyes. I feel a small flicker of hope inside me, like a candle in the dark. Maybe, just maybe, they'll be able to stop whatever's coming. Jack looks at me for a moment before speaking. "We're going to find the man who's been following you. he says. His voice is low, steady, reassuring. We'll make sure he doesn't hurt you. I nod, but I can't speak. The words are stuck in my throat. I'm too scared to say anything. I just want it all to end. I just want to go home. The bikers begin to mount their motorcycles, one by one. The sound of the engines fills the air, each roar vibrating through my chest. It's like a battle cry. I can feel the ground beneath me shake as they rev their engines, preparing for the ride ahead. I watch as they line up, their leather jackets gleaming in the fading light. I'm not sure what's going to happen next, but I know one thing for sure. I'm not alone anymore. The bikers are here, and they're going to do whatever it takes to keep me safe. As Jack leads the group, I can see the determination in his eyes. He's not just doing this for me. He's doing it for something bigger, something that's been ingrained in him for years, loyalty. It's something that runs deep in his veins, something that binds him to his crew. It's a bond forged in fire, in blood, and in the promise to protect those who can't protect themselves. The road ahead is long, and the danger is real, but I feel a sense of strength building inside me. The bikers are riding with me now, and nothing is going to stop us. We head down the rocky trail, and as the sun begins to set behind us, I try to push my fear aside. I know there's still a long way to go, but for the first time today, I start to feel a small sense of hope. Maybe I'll be okay after all. I can feel the weight of the engine beneath me, the vibrations of the bike syncing with the pounding of my heart. The bikers around me are all focused, their eyes set on the road ahead, but I can tell there's something in the air. Tension. They all know that something's about to go down. Jack, the leader of the group, is in front, guiding the way with a steady hand. His expression is hard, but there's a softness in his eyes when he looks back at me. We'll find him, he says, but I can tell he's not just saying it to reassure me. He means it, and there's no doubt in my mind that he'll do whatever it takes to keep me safe. We continue down the rocky trail, the wind cutting through the air as the bikes roar louder and louder, pushing us forward. I try to focus on the road, but my mind keeps drifting back to the marks, the strange symbols that were left behind on the trail. I can't shake the feeling that they mean something, but what? Who would leave these marks and why? My thoughts are interrupted as we hit a rough patch of terrain. The bikes bump and jolt, making it harder to stay in my seat. I grip onto Jack tightly, feeling the strength of his body beneath my hands. He's steady, focused. We've been riding for hours now, and my legs are starting to feel numb, but I know we're getting closer. I can feel it in my bones. The bikers are all silent, their attention fixed on the trail ahead. I glance around, noticing how each one of them is prepared for whatever comes next. They're not just here to ride. They're here for something bigger. They're here to protect. We pass through a thick patch of trees, and that's when I see it. A flash of silver in the distance. It's a car, parked by the side of the road. I can feel my heart skip a beat. That's him, I whisper, barely able to get the words out. Jack slows the bike down, signaling for the others to follow suit. The convoy stops, and we dismount, moving with the precision of soldiers preparing for battle. The group splits into two, one team to approach from the front, the other to circle around the back. I can see the determination in their eyes. They're ready. As we move closer to the car, I feel a knot form in my stomach. This is it. The moment I've been dreading, the moment when we face whatever has been lurking behind me all this time. We reach the car, and there's no one inside. The doors are unlocked, but there's nothing to indicate who might have been driving it. The silence is deafening, and for a moment, I think maybe it's all been a mistake. But then, Jack's voice cuts through the quiet. Look! He points to the ground, where the trail of footprints leads off into the trees. It's him. I know it is. The footsteps are fresh, and I can feel the weight of what's to come pressing down on me. Stay close, Jack orders, his voice firm. I nod, feeling a sense of purpose fill me. We follow the trail, moving slowly, making sure we're not making any noise. The trees are thick around us, their shadows long in the fading light. I can hear the rustle of leaves underfoot, the creak of branches overhead. Every step we take feels like it's leading us closer to something dangerous, something that's been waiting for us. And then, just as we round a corner, I see him. The man who's been following me, standing in the clearing, his back turned to us. He doesn't know we're here yet, but I can feel the air shift. Jack motions for the others to spread out, and we move in closer. The man's silhouette is all I can see, his figure dark against the dimming sky. He's tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a dark jacket that blends into the shadows. I know this is it. This is the moment we've been building towards. Jack steps forward, his voice low and calm. We're not here to hurt you. We're here to stop you. The man turns around, his eyes wide with surprise, but there's a coldness there, a recognition that sends a chill down my spine. For a moment, neither of us speaks. I feel my body tense up, the fear creeping back, but I force myself to stay still. Who are you? The man asks, his voice gruff. Jack doesn't flinch. It doesn't matter, he says. What matters is you're not going any further. The man takes a step back, his eyes scanning the bikers, and for a moment, I think he's going to run. But then he stops, his expression hardening. You don't know what you're dealing with, he warns. But Jack is already moving, stepping closer, his stance unwavering. We'll see about that, he says, and I know then that whatever happens next, these bikers won't let anything happen to me. I can feel the tension in the air as Jack steps closer to the man. The other bikers are ready, their eyes fixed on the figure in front of us. I try to steady my breath, but the fear is overwhelming. This man has been following me, marking my path, and I can't help but feel like everything I've been running from has led to this moment. Jack's voice cuts through the silence, calm but firm. You don't get to hurt her. The man sneers, taking a step back as if he's already sizing up the situation. And what makes you think you can stop me? He sounds confident, too confident, like he's already won. I can feel my heart racing again. I want to speak, to tell him to leave me alone, but the words stick in my throat. I'm not sure if it's the fear or the overwhelming sense of helplessness. But then I see Jack's eyes, and I know he won't let anything happen to me. He's been here before, I can tell. This isn't his first time standing up to someone like this. The man turns his attention to the other bikers, his eyes narrowing as he assesses them. But he's not scared. I don't know why, but I feel like he thinks he has the upper hand. Jack steps forward again, his voice even louder now. If you think you can get away with this, you're wrong. The man's posture shifts slightly, and for the first time, I see something in his eyes. Uncertainty, a crack in his armor. But it's gone in an instant, replaced by cold defiance. You're not in charge here, he growls. Jack doesn't hesitate. I'm in charge of this. And then it happens. The man lunges forward, trying to shove past Jack, but Jack is quicker. He grabs the man by the collar, lifting him off the ground with a strength that surprises even me. No one hurts her, Jack repeats. His voice now a low growl, as he tightens his grip. The man struggles, trying to break free, but he's no match for Jack's solid hold. For a moment, everything is still. The wind rustles the leaves around us, and I can hear the faint hum of the bikes idling in the background. It feels like time has stopped, like we're all holding our breath, waiting to see what happens next. Finally, the man stops struggling, his body going limp as he realizes he's not going anywhere. Jack's grip loosens, but he doesn't let go. This is your last warning, Jack says, his voice low but full of authority. The man glares at him, his face red with anger. But he doesn't say anything. Jack turns to the rest of the crew, his voice firm. Get him out of here. Two of the bikers step forward, pulling the man away, but not before Jack gives him one last warning. If you come near her again, you'll regret it. The man is dragged off, still cursing under his breath, but he doesn't make any more moves to fight. Jack stands there for a moment, watching them leave, his face hard, but his eyes softening when he turns back to me. It's over, he says, his voice now calm. I nod, but my mind is still reeling from the encounter. I thought I was prepared for this, but I wasn't. I wasn't ready for how real it all felt. I wasn't ready to face the man who had been stalking me, marking my path. But I'm safe now, and that's all that matters. The bikers begin to move, slowly at first, but then with more purpose. Jack gives me a reassuring smile before mounting his bike again. Let's go home, he says, and I can't help but feel a sense of relief wash over me. For the first time today, I feel like I can breathe again. The engines roar to life, and we ride off into the night, the sound of the bikes filling the air, pushing away the silence and the fear. I look back one last time at the clearing, knowing that whatever happens next, I'm not alone anymore. I'm not sure how long we've been riding now. The wind is cold, and the road is long, but the fear that's been with me all day is starting to fade. Jack, the leader of the bikers, is riding ahead of me, his form steady and sure. The rest of the crew is right behind us, and the rhythmic sound of their engines is oddly comforting. For the first time today, I don't feel completely alone. I glance to the side, watching the dark road stretch out before us, and I try to push the image of the man who had been following me out of my mind. He's gone now. I tell myself that, but the uncertainty still lingers in the back of my mind. What if he's still out there? What if he hasn't given up? But then I hear Jack's voice over the radio, cutting through my thoughts. We're almost there. The relief in his voice is unmistakable, but I can't shake the feeling that something's still not right. I look around, noticing the tension in the group of bikers. No one is speaking, but I can sense it in the way they're riding. They're on high alert. The night is getting darker, the shadows longer, and the road ahead seems to stretch on forever. The only light comes from our headlights, cutting through the thickening darkness. It feels like we're in a world of our own, separated from everything else. I try to focus on the ride, but my mind keeps wandering. What was it about today? The strange marks on the trail, the man who was following me, the feeling of being watched. It all started so suddenly, and now, it feels like it's been days, not hours. The bikers have been keeping their distance, not saying much, but I can see the way they're scanning the road, their eyes sharp. They're all waiting for something, and I don't know if I'm ready for whatever comes next. We ride for what feels like an eternity, the sounds of the bikes echoing off the hills, the air thick with the scent of gasoline, and the faint smell of pine. And then, just as I start to wonder if we'll ever reach our destination, Jack slows down. I glance at him, and he signals for the others to do the same. The convoy comes to a stop. My heart begins to race again. We're here. Jack dismounts first, the others following suit. I get off my bike, my legs shaky from the long ride. The cool night air hits me like a wave, and for a moment, I just stand there, taking it all in. The bikers are gathered around, talking in low voices, but I can't make out the words. I try to focus, to figure out what's going on, but the tension in the air is palpable. Jack steps forward, his expression serious. Stay close, he says, his voice steady. I nod, though I don't fully understand what's happening. This is it, he adds, glancing around. Whatever's been following you, it ends now. I'm not sure if it's the exhaustion or the fear that's still lingering in my chest, but for the first time today, I feel a flicker of hope. I'm not alone anymore. Jack motions for the group to move forward, and we all start walking, slowly, carefully, as if we're treading on dangerous ground. The night is quiet, too quiet, and every step we take feels like it echoes in the silence. As we move deeper into the area, I can feel the unease building again. I glance over at Jack, his face hard but calm, and I know he's ready for whatever comes next. The bikers are all prepared, their bodies tense, their eyes scanning the surroundings. We reach a small clearing, and that's when I see it. The house. It's old, abandoned, and it's the last place I want to be right now. I don't know why, but something about it feels wrong. Jack pauses, his hand raised. He signals for everyone to stop. This is it, he says again, more quietly this time. I can feel my stomach nodding as I look at the darkened windows of the house. There's no movement, no sound, but I can't shake the feeling that something is waiting inside. Jack looks at me one last time before moving forward, his crew following close behind. I take a deep breath and follow, my footsteps echoing in the quiet. The house looms ahead, its broken door hanging loosely on its hinges, the remnants of a life long gone. As we get closer, I feel the weight of the moment settle over me. I don't know what's waiting inside, but I know it's time to face whatever's been following me. And for the first time today, I'm not alone. I've got the bikers, and I've got Jack. Together, we're going to end this. Jack reaches the door first, pushing it open with a creak that sends a shiver down my spine. We all step inside, and the darkness seems to swallow us whole. There's no turning back now. I follow closely behind Jack as we step into the dark house. The air inside is musty, thick with dust and the remnants of a life long gone. The floorboards creak beneath our boots, and the faint sound of wind rustling outside is the only noise that cuts through the silence. I can feel the tension in the air, heavy and suffocating. The house feels like it's holding its breath, waiting for something. Jack leads the way, his hand steady as he moves through the dark, his eyes scanning every corner. The rest of the bikers fall in behind us, their steps silent, their bodies tense. No one speaks. No one needs to. We all know why we're here. The man who's been following me is somewhere in this house, and we're not leaving until he's dealt with. Jack pauses as he reaches the door to what looks like a living room. He stops, motioning for the others to fall back a little. He leans in close to me, his voice barely a whisper. Stay close. We don't know who or what we're up against yet. I nod, my heart racing again, but this time it's not just fear. There's something else, a cold, heavy feeling in my chest that tells me we're not alone in this place. Jack pushes the door open slowly, the hinges groaning in protest. The room is dimly lit by the faint light seeping in through broken windows, the outlines of old furniture casting long shadows across the floor. I can barely make out the shapes of a couch, a coffee table, and what looks like a broken lamp. It's a mess, papers scattered across the floor, empty bottles in the corner. There's no sign of life, but something in the back of my mind tells me we're not alone. Jack's eyes are narrowed as he surveys the room, every muscle in his body coiled tight, like a spring. He takes a step forward, his hand never straying far from his side, where I know he's got a weapon ready. The bikers behind us move in slowly, forming a loose perimeter around the room, watching every corner, every shadow. I try to steady my breathing, my hands still trembling, and I'm not sure if it's from the fear of being in this place or from the uncertainty of what comes next. The silence drags on, stretching longer than I can handle. Then I hear it, a faint scraping sound, almost imperceptible, but it's enough to make my heart skip a beat. Jack holds up a hand, signaling for everyone to freeze. The sound comes again, louder this time, followed by a low, almost guttural groan from somewhere deeper in the house. Without a word, Jack motions for us to follow. We move quietly, stepping lightly over the debris on the floor, our eyes fixed ahead. The scraping sound gets louder, more frantic, like someone trying to hide something, or someone desperate to escape. We round the corner to what looks like a hallway leading to a back door, but it's the room at the end of the hall that catches my attention. The door is slightly ajar, and the sound is coming from inside. Jack steps forward, his movements deliberate. He pulls the door open just a crack, peering inside. I'm standing right behind him, but he doesn't move, his eyes scanning the room beyond. I can barely see through the crack, but I catch a glimpse of a figure, hunched over, their back to us. It's him, the man who's been following me. I don't need to see his face to know. Jack's voice is low and controlled as he speaks. We've got him. He steps forward, kicking the door open with a sudden motion. The man jerks around, his eyes wide with panic, but it's too late. The bikers are already rushing in, closing in on him from all sides. The man takes a step back, his face twisting in fear. He opens his mouth to speak, but no words come out. Jack steps forward, his hand reaching for the man's collar, grabbing him by the throat and lifting him off the ground. You've been stalking her, Jack growls, his voice dark with anger. It ends now. The man struggles in Jack's grip, his hands clawing at Jack's arm, but he's no match for the biker's strength. Jack's grip tightens, and the man gasps for air. The rest of the bikers stand behind Jack, watching, waiting. You're going to answer for what you've done, Jack continues, his voice unwavering. The man's eyes dart around the room, looking for an escape that's no longer there. He knows it's over. The fear in his eyes tells me everything I need to know. Jack throws him to the floor with a sharp shove, and the man hits the ground with a heavy thud. He doesn't move, just lays there, panting, his chest heaving. The silence in the room is deafening. For a moment, no one speaks. I stand there, my heart still pounding, unsure of what to feel. But then Jack turns to me, his face softening just slightly. It's over, he says, and for the first time today, I feel like I can finally breathe again. We've faced the danger. We've won. I stand there, my body still trembling from the encounter, as the silence of the room settles around us. The man who had been stalking me is on the floor, barely moving. Jack stands over him, his face hard, but there's a flicker of something else, something I can't quite place. It's not just anger, it's something deeper. He doesn't look at me, but I can see the relief in the way his shoulders relax slightly. It's over. The bikers are still in position, watching the man closely, making sure he doesn't make another move. I feel a strange sense of calm wash over me, but it's fleeting. There's still something left in the air, something that hasn't been fully resolved. Jack finally speaks, his voice low, measured. We're done here. He doesn't need to say anything more. The rest of the bikers start moving, making their way back to the bikes, the tension lifting from their postures. I glance around the room one last time. The house, once so full of fear, now feels hollow, empty. The man is still on the floor, his chest rising and falling in ragged breaths, but he's no longer a threat. For the first time today, I feel like I can finally breathe. Jack walks over to me, his boots making soft thuds against the floor. I don't know what to say. I want to thank him, to say something, anything, but the words don't come. He gives me a nod, the smallest of gestures, but it's enough. He doesn't need to say anything either. We both know what just happened. The rest of the bikers are already getting ready to leave, but there's one final thing Jack needs to do. He turns to the man on the floor, his gaze hardening. "You're lucky we don't leave you here," he says, his voice cold. The man doesn't respond, too defeated to fight back. Jack looks back at the others, giving a silent signal. They're ready to move out. "Get him to the police," Jack orders, and one of the bikers steps forward, pulling the man roughly to his feet. They don't waste any time, dragging him toward the door. I don't know what happens next for him, but that's no longer my problem. As they leave, I turn to Jack, my mind still reeling from everything that just happened. He doesn't say anything, but there's a look in his eyes, something that tells me he understands. We walk outside together, the rest of the bikers already mounted and ready to go. The night air is cool, and for the first time today, it feels good to be outside, away from the darkness of the house. The moon is high in the sky, casting a soft light over the group. Jack mounts his bike first, and I follow suit. As the engines roar to life, I feel the weight of the day lift slightly. I don't know what the future holds, but I do know one thing. I'm not alone anymore. The bikers are with me, and Jack is there, leading the way. We ride off into the night, the sound of the bikes filling the air, a constant hum that drowns out the remnants of fear. The road ahead is long, but for the first time today, I don't feel like I'm walking it alone. The journey isn't over, but it's just begun. And no matter what comes next, I know I'm in good hands. I never thought I'd feel so relieved to be riding down an open highway. But tonight the wind on my face feels different. The air is cool, but the weight of the past few hours is still pressing on me, heavy and constant. The roar of the engines around me, the steady rhythm of the bikes, is the only sound I can focus on. Jack's bike is ahead, cutting through the darkness, his silhouette clear against the night sky. I'm still riding behind him, following the same path, but it feels like I'm finally leaving the nightmare behind. The bikers are spread out behind me, each one keeping a careful distance, their presence a constant reminder that I'm not alone. That feeling, that sense of being watched and hunted, is finally starting to fade. I'm not the same person I was when I first arrived at that house. I'm not the same person who was running scared, desperate for safety. Something inside me has changed. Jack's voice comes through the radio, calm, but with a hint of urgency. "We're almost there. Just a few more miles." I can hear the others respond, confirming the plan. We've been riding for what feels like hours now, and despite the cold, despite the uncertainty, I feel like I'm starting to trust them. The bikers. Jack. They've given me something I didn't know I needed: safety, protection, and maybe even hope. The night is so quiet now, it almost feels like we're the only ones on this stretch of road. The highway stretches ahead of us, endless and dark, with the occasional flicker of distant lights from a small town or a passing car. But for the first time tonight, I'm not afraid. I know that wherever this road takes me, I'm not going alone. We make a sharp turn onto a smaller road, the bikes leaning into the curve, the headlights illuminating the trees that line the way. It's a far cry from the wide-open highway we were on, but this road feels safer somehow. Jack slows down as we approach a small clearing. I see the faint outline of a building ahead. Nothing fancy, just a simple cabin, nestled in the woods. The bikes pull up to a stop, and I dismount, my legs still a little shaky from the ride. Jack takes off his helmet, running a hand through his hair. The other bikers are already gathered around, unloading their gear and getting ready. There's a sense of calm here, like everyone knows their part in this little moment of peace. Jack turns to me, his expression softening just a little. "This is it," he says. "You're safe here." I nod, the words not quite reaching my mouth. It feels real, but at the same time, it feels like a dream. I've been running for so long, and now, here I am, finally safe. The bikers start setting up for the night, preparing a small campfire, unloading supplies. It's like watching a well-oiled machine, everyone moving with purpose, no wasted motion. Jack comes over to me, his eyes serious but warm. "We'll keep watch tonight. You can rest. You've been through enough." I don't know what to say. I just look at him, not sure if I'm relieved or overwhelmed. For the first time today, I don't feel like I need to run anymore. I sit down by the fire, the warmth of the flames a comfort, and I let out a long breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. The sounds of the forest around us, the crackling of the fire, the soft murmurs of the bikers talking among themselves. All of it feels so different from the fear that had been suffocating me for so long. It feels like I can finally let go. I look up at the sky, the stars clearer than I've ever seen them, and I realize just how much I've been holding back. I've been afraid for so long. Afraid of what could happen, afraid of what I couldn't control. But now, with the bikers around me, with Jack leading the way, I'm starting to believe that maybe I don't need to be afraid anymore. I don't know what the future holds, but I know this. I'm not facing it alone. Jack looks at me from across the fire, his eyes catching mine. "You're not alone," he says, and for the first time, I believe him. I don't know what happens next, but I know that tonight, at least, I'm safe. And that's all that matters. I wake up to the sound of crackling firewood, the soft light of morning filtering through the trees. The air is cool, but not as cold as the night before. I stretch slowly, feeling the tension in my body start to ease as I realize where I am. The bikers are already up, moving around the camp with quiet efficiency, getting their gear ready. Jack is sitting near the fire, his face unreadable, but there's something about the way he's sitting, the way he's looking at the fire, that makes me think he's reflecting on something. I stand up, stretching again, trying to shake off the stiffness from the long ride. My legs feel sore, but it's a different kind of pain now, more from the ride than the fear. I walk over to the fire, and Jack looks up when I approach. He offers me a small, reassuring smile, though his eyes are still serious. "How are you feeling?" he asks, his voice low and steady. I nod, not sure what to say at first. I feel better, but I'm still shaken by everything that's happened. "Better," I finally say. "Thanks to you guys." Jack's expression softens just a little. "You don't have to thank us. We're family," he says, his voice firm but warm. I look around at the other bikers, each of them going about their work. It's strange how much they feel like a family to me now, even though I've only known them for a short time. They've all been so kind, so protective, and I can feel the bond between them. There's a quiet strength in the way they move, in the way they support each other. They don't ask for anything in return. They just do what they do. "You're part of this now," Jack continues, his voice steady, his eyes meeting mine. "You don't have to go through this alone anymore." For a moment, I can't say anything. The weight of his words settles on me, and I realize just how much I've been carrying. I've been so afraid, so focused on the fear of being alone, that I never really stopped to consider the strength I now have, the people who are here for me. I finally smile, though it's small. I don't know what to say, I admit, my voice a little shaky. Jack chuckles softly, and for a moment, it's like the tension of the past few days lifts, just a little. "You don't have to say anything," he says. "Just know that you're safe here. We'll make sure of it." I feel a surge of relief wash over me, like a weight has been lifted from my shoulders. I don't know what the future holds, but for the first time in a long time, I feel like I can face it. I'm not alone. The bikers start gathering their things, getting ready to head out. Jack stands up, stretching, and walks over to his bike. He looks back at me, his expression still serious, but with a hint of something else in his eyes. "We're heading back to town," he says. "We'll take you to a place where you can lay low for a while. You'll be safe." I nod, feeling a sense of gratitude swell inside me. "Thanks," I say quietly. Jack gives me a nod, and without another word, he starts up his bike. The rest of the bikers follow suit, and we head out, the engines roaring to life. The road ahead is long, but as I ride behind Jack, I realize that I don't have to be afraid anymore. The journey isn't over, but I don't feel like I'm walking it alone anymore. As the miles stretch out before us, I feel a small sense of peace settling in. There's still a lot of unknown ahead, but for now, I'm safe. And for the first time in a long time, that's enough. I feel the vibrations of the bike beneath me as the road stretches ahead, the miles slipping by under the headlights. The wind has settled into a steady rhythm, and with it, the lingering fear in my chest starts to ease. We've been riding for a while now, and though the night is still young, there's a quiet comfort in the familiar sound of the engines and the company of the bikers around me. Jack is riding ahead, as usual, but I can sense him checking in on me from time to time, his eyes glancing back to make sure I'm all right. I've always thought I was alone in this world, that no one would understand what I've been through, but somehow, with these bikers, it feels like that isolation is finally starting to crack. They're not just helping me because it's their job or because it's what they do. There's something more there, something deeper. There's a bond, an unspoken agreement that when one of them needs help, the rest will step in without hesitation. That's what Jack showed me when he stepped in to protect me, and that's what I'm starting to see in every single one of them. They're not just bikers. They're a family. The thought of being part of something like that, after years of feeling like I was on my own, is almost too much to process. But I don't have time to think about it too deeply right now. We're on the move, and there's still danger lurking in the background. Jack's eyes never stop scanning the road ahead, but I notice how he's staying close to me, making sure I'm not left behind. There's an energy in the air that's palpable, a sense that something is about to shift, something bigger than any of us. The road is long. The darkness stretches for miles, and the silence between the bikers feels both comforting and unsettling. We're heading toward a small town on the outskirts, a place where we can lay low for a while, but I can't shake the feeling that the worst isn't over yet. As we approach the town, I feel my grip on the bike tighten. The flickering lights in the distance, the shapes of buildings, it's all so different from the open road. Jack slows down, signaling for the group to follow his lead. He makes a sharp turn onto a side street, and I follow without hesitation. The town is quiet, too quiet. The buildings are old, and the streets are narrow. It feels like the kind of place you drive through without ever really noticing, but there's something about it that doesn't sit right. Jack stops in front of a small, inconspicuous building that looks like it's been here for years. There's a faded sign hanging over the door, barely legible in the dim light. He turns off his engine, and the rest of the bikers follow suit. The air is still, but the sense of anticipation is thick. We dismount, and Jack leads the way to the door, the rest of us falling into line behind him. It's not until we step inside that the true weight of the situation hits me. The room is dark, the only light coming from a single hanging bulb overhead. The walls are lined with shelves filled with old books, papers, and various tools I don't recognize. There's a faint smell of tobacco and dust in the air. This place feels like a hiding spot, like a safe house that's been used for years. I can feel the tension in the group. The bikers are on high alert, but they're also relaxed in a way, like they've been through this kind of thing before. Jack moves to the back of the room, where a heavy door stands, and knocks twice. The door creaks open, and a man steps out, his face shadowed by the dim light. Jack nods to him, and the man steps aside, allowing us to enter. This is the place. This is where we'll stay, where we'll be safe, for now. But as I step inside, I can't shake the feeling that the shadows still follow us. There's a tension in the air that hasn't gone away, and I know that even though we're safe for the moment, the danger is still out there, lurking just beyond the walls. Jack looks at me as we enter, his eyes steady and calm. "We're not done yet," he says quietly. "But you're safe here. We'll figure out the rest." I nod, but I can feel the fear in my chest trying to resurface. I want to believe him. I do. But there's a part of me that's still afraid, still uncertain. The door closes behind us, and I'm left wondering just how much longer I'll be able to keep running from the past. But for now, I'm safe. And that's enough. I sit in the dimly lit room, the silence pressing down on me like a heavy weight. The air is stale, the walls lined with old books and worn furniture. The bikers are gathered around, each of them in their own world, quietly preparing for what's next. Jack is sitting across from me, his eyes focused, his expression unreadable. I can tell he's thinking, planning. There's a tension in the room that I can feel deep in my bones. We're safe here, for now, but I can't shake the feeling that this isn't over. Jack finally breaks the silence, his voice steady. "We can't stay here forever. The danger's still out there." His words hang in the air, thick and heavy. I know what he means. The man who's been stalking me is still out there, and there's a lingering fear in the pit of my stomach. The bikers are keeping a low profile, but I know it's only a matter of time before the situation escalates. I can see the way Jack's crew moves, always alert, always ready. They're not just here to protect me. They're here to make sure the danger doesn't find us. Jack stands up, walking toward the window. He pulls the curtains back slightly, peering outside. The street is quiet. but there's a strange stillness to it. It feels like everything is waiting, like something is about to happen. "We need to be ready," Jack says, his voice low but firm. "The man we're dealing with isn't just some random stalker. He's part of something bigger." My heart skips a beat. I knew this wasn't just about me, but hearing Jack say it out loud makes it feel more real. "What do you mean?" I ask, my voice barely above a whisper. Jack turns to look at me, his eyes hard. "He's part of a larger group, a dangerous one. If he's been following you, it's not just personal. There's something more to this." The weight of his words sinks in, and I feel a cold chill run through me. I've been running from something much bigger than I thought. Jack walks over to the door, signaling for the rest of the bikers to gather around. They all move quickly, silently, as if they've done this 1,000 times before. The room fills with a quiet intensity, and I can see the determination in their eyes. They're ready for whatever comes next. One of the bikers, a tall man with a scar across his cheek, steps forward. "We've got eyes on the area," he says, his voice calm, but with an edge of urgency. "We've been tracking this group for a while now. They're not the type to just let things go." Jack nods, his expression hardening. "I know. We need to be prepared. This isn't just about protecting her anymore. It's about making sure they don't get any closer." The room falls silent again, and I can feel the weight of the decision hanging in the air. Jack looks at me, his gaze steady. "We'll take care of it. You just stay out of the way." I nod, but inside, I feel a swirl of emotions. Fear, relief, uncertainty. I want to help, but I know this isn't my fight. It's theirs, and I trust them. I trust Jack. The bikers move quickly, getting their gear together, preparing for whatever's ahead. I watch them, each one of them moving with purpose, their focus sharp. They're not afraid. They've faced worse than this, I can tell. Jack steps toward me, his hand resting briefly on my shoulder. "Stay here," he says softly. "We'll be back soon. You'll be safe." I watch him walk out the door, the others following behind him. The door closes with a soft click, and I'm left alone in the quiet room. The only sound is the faint hum of the distant engines, the bikes idling as they prepare for what's next. I sit back, my mind racing. I don't know what's going to happen, but I know that whatever it is, Jack and his crew are ready for it. And somehow, that makes me feel a little bit safer. The minutes tick by slowly, and every passing second feels like an eternity. My mind is filled with images of the man who's been stalking me, of the danger that's still out there, and of the bikers who are risking everything to protect me. I want to trust that everything will be okay, but there's a part of me that's still afraid. The silence in the room is deafening, but then I hear it. The sound of the bikes revving in the distance. I stand up, moving to the window, my heart racing. I can see the headlights cutting through the darkness, the bikers returning. I take a deep breath, my hands shaking as I watch them ride back into view. They're here. Jack's back. I watch as they pull into the yard, dismounting their bikes with practiced ease. Jack walks toward the door, his face still serious, but with a hint of something else in his eyes. He looks at me for a moment, and I can see the tension in his posture begin to relax. "It's done," he says, his voice steady. "We've handled it." The fear that's been gripping me for so long finally starts to loosen its hold, and I let out a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. For the first time in days, I feel like I can finally relax. I'm safe, and it's over. I sit by the fire, the warmth of the flames flickering across the faces of the bikers gathered around. The air is still, the weight of the night hanging over us like a heavy blanket. Jack sits beside me, his eyes scanning the horizon, his hands resting on his knees. There's a quiet sense of relief in the camp, but I can still feel the undercurrent of tension. We've made it through the worst of it, but there's something in the air, something that tells me the danger isn't over yet. I can see it in Jack's eyes, in the way the others move, the way they check and recheck their bikes and gear. They're preparing for something, though I'm not sure what. I've never been around people like this before. People who live by their own code, who protect their own no matter what. They're not afraid of the darkness, of the danger lurking around every corner. But as much as I trust them, I can't shake the feeling that we're still waiting for something. The fire crackles, sending sparks into the air. I feel a strange calm wash over me, despite the unease in my gut. Jack turns to me, his expression softer now. "You're safe here," he says, his voice low. I nod, though I'm not entirely convinced. The fear still lingers, a shadow in the back of my mind. But Jack is here, and the bikers are here, and that counts for something. We've got your back, Jack adds, his words steady, sure. No matter what happens. I can see the sincerity in his eyes, and for the first time in a long time, I believe him. I don't feel so alone anymore. The others start to settle in for the night, their voices quiet as they talk among themselves. I watch them, taking in their easy camaraderie, their unspoken bond. It's a bond forged in trust, in loyalty, and in the understanding that no matter what happens, they've got each other's backs. It's something I never really understood until now. I've spent so much of my life running, hiding, always looking over my shoulder, afraid of what might be lurking in the shadows. But now, with these people, with Jack, I don't feel that way anymore. I'm not running anymore. Jack stands up, motioning for me to follow. We walk away from the fire, the night air cool against my skin. The others are still talking, but Jack leads me to a small area behind the camp, where the trees are thick and the moonlight barely reaches. He stops, turning to face me. We've made some enemies, he says, his voice quiet but serious. But we've also made allies. I look up at him, unsure of where he's going with this. What do you mean? I ask. Jack looks out into the distance, his expression distant. There are people who would do anything to take us down, he says. But there are also people who owe us favors, people who've got our backs. It's not over yet, but we're not alone in this fight. The words hang in the air, heavy with meaning. I can feel the weight of what he's saying, the reality of the situation sinking in. We're not just running from something. We're fighting for something. Jack steps closer, his gaze steady. You're part of this now, he says, his voice low. You're part of this family. And we protect our own. I don't know what to say. I've never been part of something like this before. I've never had people who would fight for me, who would protect me, no matter what. But somehow it feels right. For the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. Jack's hand rests on my shoulder, a reassuring weight. We'll face whatever comes next together, he says, his voice firm. I nod. The words still fail me. What can I say to that? What can I say to someone who's given me the one thing I've been missing my whole life? Belonging. Jack turns and heads back toward the camp, and I follow him, feeling something stir inside me. It's not just relief anymore. It's hope. For the first time in so long, I can see a future that doesn't involve running. The future is uncertain, and the road ahead is long, but I know one thing for sure. I'm not facing it alone. I've got Jack, I've got the bikers, and for the first time in my life, I've got a family. The fire crackles behind us as we make our way back to the others, and I take a deep breath, letting the night air fill my lungs. I don't know what's waiting out there, but with these people, I know I'm ready to face it. The sun rises slowly, casting a warm orange glow over the horizon, and the day feels different. It feels like a new beginning. The camp is quiet now, the fire having burned down to embers, and the bikers are gathered around, preparing for the day ahead. I stand at the edge of the clearing, watching the light break through the trees, feeling the cool morning air against my skin. The weight in my chest has lessened over the past few hours, and for the first time in a long time, I feel a sense of peace. Jack walks over, his boots crunching against the ground, and stands beside me, his eyes scanning the surroundings. He's been quiet this morning, but I know he's thinking, strategizing. There's always a plan with Jack. We've got a lot of work ahead of us, he says, his voice steady. But we'll handle it. We always do. I look at him, and for the first time, I see not just a leader, but someone who has always been ready for what's next. Someone who's made peace with the chaos and knows how to navigate it. What happens now? I ask, my voice still uncertain, but the fear is starting to slip away. Jack looks at me, his expression softening. Now we stay ahead of it. We keep moving forward, keep the family safe. We'll find the answers we're looking for, but we do it together. His words settle in, and I feel something shift inside me. I'm not just a passenger in this story anymore. I'm part of this, part of something bigger. The bikers start to gather around, getting ready to leave. They're not just riders, they're warriors, each with their own story, each with their own reasons for being here. But they're all here for the same reason now, to protect. I watch them, feeling the bond between us grow stronger. They've been here for me, and now, I'm here for them. I look at Jack once more. His face is calm, but I can see the weight of the world in his eyes. He's always carrying that weight, always carrying the responsibility of keeping his crew safe. And maybe that's why I trust him. He doesn't shy away from the hard stuff, the dark stuff. He faces it head-on. As we mount our bikes and prepare to leave the camp, I feel a sense of purpose rising inside me. I know there will be more danger ahead, more threats, more obstacles, but I also know we'll face them together. We ride off into the morning, the sound of the engines filling the air, the wind rushing past us. The road ahead is long, but it doesn't scare me anymore. The fear has faded, replaced by something stronger, a sense of belonging, of purpose, and a promise that no matter what comes next, we'll face it together. The world is still uncertain, but for the first time, I feel ready. With Jack and the bikers by my side, I know I'm not facing it alone. The journey isn't over, but it's no longer about running from the past. It's about moving forward into the future, knowing that no matter where the road takes us, we'll always have each other. The sun rises higher, the warmth spreading across the land, and with it, a new chapter begins. And for the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be.